The Mongols are known for their extraordinary conquests, which shaped a significant piece of world history in the medieval era. One element that allowed the Mongol Empire to span vast territories across Europe and Asia was their exceptional relationship with their horses. These hardy animals were more than a means of transport to the Mongols. They were integral to the Mongols' way of life, from their warfare strategies to their spiritual beliefs. In this video, we'll explore 9 captivating facts about the Mongols and their horses. Number 1. The Mongols had a nomadic culture. The Mongols' way of life was deeply rooted in their nomadic heritage, and the horse was at the center of this lifestyle. Unlike the settled agricultural societies, the Mongols often came into conflict and relied on their horses. They were a mode of transportation, a means of survival, and a way of life. Their nomadic culture demanded mobility, adaptability, and resilience, reflected in their equine companions. The vast grasslands of the Eurasian steppe, which stretched from Central Asia to Eastern Europe, were once home to the Mongolian people. These lands were ideal for the Mongols' nomadic lifestyle. The harsh environment forced the Mongols to keep moving, following seasonal migrations to ensure their herds had enough pasture. In this brutal landscape, horses were indispensable for transport, food, milk, and sometimes even shelter. Mongols were raised in the saddle, with their children often learning to ride before they could walk. This early exposure to horses meant that by adulthood, they were some of the most skilled horsemen in the world. Number 2. The Mongols designed their own saddles. The Mongols may have been one of the first cultures to use saddles and stirrups, now commonplace equipment. Although we can't know for sure, the Mongols may have invented the saddle and stirrups. Even if they didn't invent it, the saddle was a crucial element in the success of their cavalry. It allowed them to stay on horseback for long periods with considerably less fatigue due to added support and comfort. Riding a horse without a saddle can be incredibly strenuous, and the invention of the saddle allowed the Mongols to travel more efficiently. One of the unique features of Mongol saddles was their lightweight construction, which made them easy to carry over long distances. Despite their simplicity, they offered excellent support, allowing riders to shoot arrows in every direction while maintaining balance and control over the horse. They featured a high pommel and cantle, meaning that the saddle's front and back were high enough to help the rider stay secure during the most aggressive maneuvers. These saddles also had profound practical implications. With these saddles, a Mongol warrior could ride for days without tiring, and the design allowed them to carry essential supplies during campaigns. The saddle's design contributed to the endurance of both the rider and the horse, an invaluable asset in their long and arduous military campaigns. It should be noted that although using these unique saddles provided the Mongols with increased comfort and support compared to riding without a saddle, most of the Mongols' endurance on horseback can be attributed to a lifetime of experience and superb physical ability. Number 3. The Mongolian horses were unlike any other. While many ancient cultures bred horses, the Mongolian horses were unique in their hardiness and endurance. Mongolian horses were small but incredibly tough. While they were much smaller than the war horses used by European knights, Mongolian horses could travel vast distances, survive in extreme climates, and exist on minimal resources. Their endurance made them ideal for the demanding lifestyle of the Mongols. These horses evolved in the harsh conditions of the Mongolian steppe, making them highly resilient to the cold winters and hot summers of Central Asia. Unlike the pampered horses of settled societies, Mongolian horses were left to graze freely on the steppe. They had to fend for themselves, resulting in a highly independent breed that could survive on very little sustenance. The Mongols relied on their horses' stamina and hardiness, which was crucial during military campaigns. The horses could endure long marches, carry heavy loads, and survive with minimal food and water, allowing Mongol armies to cover ground at an unprecedented pace. Their small size made them agile, and they had incredible lung capacity, enabling them to function at high altitudes where many other horses would struggle. Number 4. The Mongols and their horses were adapted to their environment. The Mongolian steppe, with its vast open spaces and extreme climate, presented numerous challenges. Mongolian horses had adapted perfectly to this environment over centuries. Their thick coats protected them from the freezing winters, while their ability to dig through snow with their hooves allowed them to find food even in the harshest conditions. Mongols rarely stabled their horses, even in the harshest of storms. The horse's natural adaptation to the environment meant they could survive outside year-round, which was necessary due to the Mongols' nomadic lifestyle. If the horses needed constant shelter, they would not have survived the Mongols' migratory ways. During the summer, the horses grazed on the abundant grass. In the winter, they could survive on the sparse vegetation beneath the snow. This natural resilience allowed the Mongols to maintain large herds, which were essential to their nomadic economy. Their horses could thrive where other breeds would fail, giving the Mongols a significant advantage over their enemies, which was crucial during their military campaigns. The horse's adaptability mirrored the Mongols' adaptability. Number 5. The Mongols' horses were critical in warfare. Mongol warriors on horseback were a fearsome sight. The mobility of their cavalry was one of the key factors behind the Mongols' success in building one of the largest empires in history. Genghis Khan, the legendary Mongol leader, revolutionized military tactics by fully exploiting the potential of mounted warfare. To add to their military prowess, the Mongols perfected the use of the composite bow while on horseback. The composite bow was a weapon that could be fired with deadly accuracy, even at full gallop, giving the Mongols a significant advantage over their enemies, many of whom were unprepared for the speed and agility of the Mongol horsemen. In battle, the Mongols employed strategies such as the feigned retreat, in which they would appear to flee only to lure their enemies into an ambush. These tactics were only possible because of their extraordinary control over their horses. The Mongol horse was a weapon in its own right, enabling swift and decisive attacks. The horse's stamina and speed allowed the Mongols to use blitzkrieg-like tactics. They could travel hundreds of miles in a matter of days, striking with surprise and retreating before the enemy could retaliate. This mobility was a hallmark of Mongol warfare, and it allowed them to conquer vast territories in a short amount of time. Number 6. Horses were a part of the Mongol spiritual practices. The spiritual beliefs of the Mongols are unique, especially when compared to ancient Western cultures. They had a largely shamanistic belief system, where horses were often part of spiritual rituals. They were seen as gifts from the gods and imbued with spiritual significance. They also believed that horses had souls and could influence the spiritual realm. Because they were so spiritually significant, the shamans invoked the spirits of horses for protection in battle or blessings during migrations. Mongols also believed that a horse's spirit could guide the soul of the deceased to the afterlife, and it was not uncommon for horses to be sacrificed during funerals as a way to honor the dead. Horses were also seen as a link to Tengri, the sky god of the Mongols. It was believed that Tengri watched over the Mongols and their horses, guiding them in their journeys and battles. The Mongols' reverence for their horses was reflected in their care for them. As a culture, they treated their animals with respect and gratitude for the vital role they played in their lives. Number 7. There were different types of Mongolian horses. While we've already talked about the Mongols' horses and how they were unique, there's more to their horses than that. Though they were often seen as a singular breed, Mongolian horses came in different varieties, each suited to a different task. While they were all as resilient as the Mongols who bred them, some were bred for speed, and some were bred for endurance. The horses bred for speed were used in swift raids and communication, while others were bred for endurance, used in long-distance campaigns or migrations across the steppe. The Mongolians categorized their horses by their abilities and characteristics. Some horses were known for their strength and were used to carry heavy loads, while others were prized for their agility in battle. This diversity allowed the Mongols to maintain a versatile approach to both their military and nomadic lives. Because the horses were allowed to remain partially feral rather than removed from their native habitat, they were not heavily domesticated or selectively bred by human standards. Because of that, they retained much of their genetic diversity, which is one of the reasons Mongolian horses were so resilient and adaptable, able to perform a wide variety of functions while surviving in the harsh environment of the steppe. Number 8. The Mongolians used their horses for more than just riding. Horses were clearly an essential part of Mongol society, but they were used for so much more than just riding. They were a source of milk used to make a fermented drink called arek, a staple of the Mongol diet. This drink, made from mare's milk, was rich in nutrients and was believed to have medicinal properties. Both warriors and civilians consumed it, and it was even used in rituals and celebrations. In addition to providing milk, horses were sometimes used as a source of meat, though this was typically a last resort during times of famine or hardship. Their hides were also used to make clothing, shoes, and even shelter in the form of yurts, the traditional portable dwellings of the Mongols. The versatility of the horse in Mongol society cannot be overstated. It was a multi-purpose animal, contributing to every aspect of Mongol life, from nutrition to transportation to warfare. The dependence on horses was not merely a matter of practicality. It was a deep-seated relationship that shaped Mongol society. Number 9. The Mongols had a special bond with their horses. Mongols were known to form deep emotional connections with their horses. This bond was forged through constant interaction and mutual alliance. A Mongol warrior and his horse were a team, often spending years together in peace and in the heat of battle. This relationship was not merely functional, but profoundly personal. A horse and his rider were partners. Because of this bond, horses were treated with the utmost care and reverence. A Mongol warrior would often sing to his horse, and certain songs were believed to bring the horse's luck or strength of spirit before battle. The Mongols deeply understood their horses' behaviors and needs, ensuring that the animals were always well fed, groomed, and protected from the elements. Unlike many other cultures, where horses were primarily seen as tools for agriculture, battle, or transport, the Mongols viewed their horses almost as family members. It wasn't unusual for a warrior to rely on the same horse for years, creating a bond of trust and loyalty. This bond was a crucial factor in the Mongol success. When your survival depends on your horse, both in battle and everyday life, the care and attention you give to that animal is the highest priority. The relationship went far beyond simple care. There was an emotional element that shaped the Mongols' approach to horsemanship. Many Mongols would credit their horses for victories in battle or for safely guiding them through dangerous terrain. And they were right. Not many steeds could have guided them through the treacherous terrain like the Mongol horses did. Even today, Mongolian horses are renowned for their bravery, endurance, and resilience. At the end of their lives, horses were often buried alongside their riders, reflecting their enduring connection. In Mongol culture, to ride together in life meant to ride together in the afterlife. As they ride together in the afterlife, they ride together in history. The Mongols' success in creating one of the largest empires the world has ever seen can't be separated from their deep connection with their horses. These incredible animals were crucial to the Mongols' military strategies, spiritual practices, and daily survival. Whether on the battlefield or traversing the vast windswept steppe, the Mongols' horses were always by their side. The Mongol Empire might never have risen to such heights without their horses. Today, the legacy of this relationship remains an enduring symbol of what it takes to thrive in the most demanding of environments. How would you like to get a deeper understanding of history, impress your friends, and predict the future more accurately based on past events? If this sounds like something you might be into, then check out the brand new Captivating History Book Club by clicking the first link in the description. To learn more about the Mongols and their fascinating history, check out our book, The Golden Horde, a captivating guide to the European appanage of the Mongol Empire that was ruled by the descendants of Genghis Khan. It's available as an ebook, paperback, and audiobook. Also, grab your free Mythology Bundle ebook while it's still available. All links are in the description. If you found the video captivating, please hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like this.